Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khush aamdeed. Ji aaya nu. Goeiemorgen.
Sparta, Pakher Ragale, Gianu, Tuna Shumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Hale Shumachatore, Ahlan Wasalan, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bhalli Kare Ayan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning. Alongside me, I have the very amazing, the very intelligent, the very on time, Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. And we hope and pray that everybody is ready to kickstart their day with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the weather over here in Islamabad is beautiful, perfect.
Stunning.
And I think, in just a month's time or probably in 2 months' time, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. I think we will be enjoying the cold winters over here in Islamabad as well. Hello, Shiza. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm absolutely great. And so you do know how obsessed, how utterly obsessed I am with winter.
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
in my books,
I
winter
thought
has
you were about
already
to say
started.
rain, yeah? You're
Rain
obsessed
and
with
wind.
rain as well.
I am obsessed with rain, that's true.
Yeah.
So in my books, winter has already started for two reasons,
wow.
though. First of all, humidity has gone down.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be 85-ish throughout, I mean, for the last 3 months, right?
Wow.
But now it's dropping, and in the weeks to come, inshallah, it is going to sort of die down eventually. So I'm looking forward to that. And also, I hear from Multan that the heat is breaking down. And when Multanis say that it's not hot anymore, that literally means it's not hot anymore.
I mean, you truly cannot rely on people from Multan, and it's because of the fact, because that particular area over here in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, is the most hot area as well.
It is.
So imagine that, their threshold is somewhere else rather than our threshold as well. So let's not compare with that. But if they say that the heat's going down, that totally means that the entire country is going to cool down in a matter of few days or probably few weeks as well. And that I believe that everybody's going to take out their jackets and coats and whatnot. But the best part over here is, and since we have a couple of friends over here in the studios with us as well, and they would agree to it, and I'm sure for a reason, and it's a fact that they might have been, there might have been a part of their life where they have been in Karachi as well. We're going to talk about that as well, but not just that. In Karachi, so obviously you do not get the winter which we get over here. In Karachi,
because
you have to turn on the air
coastal
conditioners
areas, right?
throughout the year as well. But no matter what happens, whenever they see that it's December, so they're going to take out their long boots, long coats, and whatever they have, and they're just going to roam around on the streets as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, the weather over here is beautiful. I think today is that day where you really want to take your family out, but please make sure that you follow all the SOPs as well in terms of the COVID as well, because the COVID's on a rise, everything's under a lockdown. So now today, I think you must have witnessed it as well, that, on the roads, it wasn't really rushy.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I think both of us left late as well.
Yeah,
But
I kind of saw your car as well today, but
Me
I was
too.
like, thoda piche khade hai, yaar, abhi salam gila ho jaunga. Yeah.
So yeah, all right. And speaking of that, there were a lot of people on the road. While yes, schools and colleges are definitely closed, but some office spaces are still operating. So there were a lot of people who were on their bikes or either on their foot. And it really melts my heart sort of to imagine, Shahzad, they're beginning their day with such a note. I mean, they're all wet, their clothes are ruined. Of course, it sort of kills your mojo or the tone you set for your day as well, right? And then imagine you arriving at work with ruined everything, with ruined, mindset as well. So for all the people out there who are having it harder amidst this weather, I really hope all of you have a good day and sort of pull it together. We are here definitely to share our mornings with you and try to make it better. But speaking of that, now just looking at that
I
one
think
bit.
there's one thing which I would love to add over here, and that is that, for everybody who's kind of driving or in a car to their workplaces, please make sure that you're very considerate of all of those people on their bicycles and motorbikes as well. Please make sure that you do not splash water. I've seen a lot of people that they're not really considerate of this fact as well, that, God forbid, you're going to add on to whatever, hardship they're going through just because of the fact that it's raining and they're getting wet as well. So please make sure that you don't do that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's sort of linked to this. So where I was saying was that imagine with such minor inconveniences, we tend to get so frustrated, where I'm saying that imagine arriving to work with your clothes wet and whatnot. But there are people, Shahzad, who sort of, who promised or actually took a pledge to serve each and every single day of their lives for their motherland, and that also may include getting their, well, clothes wet for that matter. That is just one part of it. But today happens to be a really, really important day in the history of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. And Shahzad Khan and myself, with our entire team, we love to sort of celebrate and observe what is best for Pakistan, what happened in our historical aspects, and today we're here to do the same. So what is it?
Exactly. So before I give it away as well, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that you actually have to live in a capsule where you're not going to see the sun, or probably you're just going to see water all around you as well, and that too for a month's time or 2 months time or 3 months time as well. How I mean, it's going to be so confiscating as well at times, and then at times we say over here there's this very that you get claustrophobic, and then you get seasickness as well. There are a lot of hardships which all of these amazing people in display of their valor and courage go through, and it's because of the fact that they are there in the line of duty and they're there for their motherland as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are observing Pakistan Barrier Day as well, or Yawm-e-Barrier. We have a small report to share with you guys. Please go ahead, take a look, and once you guys will come back, we will actually be in conversation with our very amazing Pakistani heroes and the soldiers of Pakistan, our motherland as well. So please go ahead and take a look.
Every year on the 8th of September, Pakistan honors its Navy, the branch of its armed forces traditionally described as the Silent Service. Navy Day is commemorated in Pakistan to pay tribute to the service given and sacrifices made by the veterans and martyrs of Pakistan's Navy. From the time our nation was born to the successive battles undertaken to secure its survival, Pakistan Navy has continued to play a critical role in turning the tide of any battle in Pakistan's favor. The prime example of the gallantry and competence of our naval force is Operation Somnath. It was successfully conducted by Pakistan Navy in the historical Indo-Pak War of 1965, which made Indian conspiracies against Pakistan utterly unprofitable. In the 17-day war, Pakistan Navy remained vigilant and emerged victorious in its struggle against Indian Navy without any significant loss. Today, Pakistan Navy is adapting itself to the new realities and prepares itself for a more robust role in Pakistan's security. The sacrifices made by Pakistan Navy personnel have made it possible for us to live in a safe and secure homeland. Their unwavering courage and willingness to lay down their lives for the country have given us heroes who continue to inspire generations. We commemorate this day to recognize that our Navy continues to make Pakistan proud by sailing strongly in both rough and calm seas.
And ladies and gentlemen, today obviously it's an honor for us to have actually been joined by all of those heroes who continue to inspire the future generations of Pakistan and us at the same time.
Right.
And today we want them to inspire a lot of other people in 46 different countries as well.
But Shahzad, when we talk about especially these people, yes, we have dedicated this entire day to sort of like I already said, remember all the sacrifices they've made.
Yep.
But that on the maritime front, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just that you're sitting in a submarine and you're waiting for a war to happen, or you're waiting for the orders to come and then you go attack. There's so many things, and it's not just, well...
But I think there might be orders, yeah.
You don't get what I'm saying. So I think, of course, it's not just sort of limited to war, like we already spoke about a few days back. Now there are so many, when we talk about CPEC for that matter, similar projects going on. And then the Navy is engaging itself in building community as well along the coastal areas.
Exactly.
So many things that we have to talk about, definitely.
Wow.
But one more thing, being civilians today, I feel like it is our responsibility, individual responsibility, to pay rich tribute to all these people. And yes, without any further ado, let's do that.
To all these people, to all the Ghazis, to all the families of these people as well, ladies and gentlemen. So without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Commodore Retired. He happens to be a senior research fellow at NEMA as well. He is Dr. Anjum Sarfaraz. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this talk.
Jazakallah, sir. And alongside Dr. Anjum Sarfaraz, ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to have been conferred upon by Siltara Imtiaz Military as well. He happens to be Director NEMA Pakistan. He's Commodore Retired Babar Bilal Haider Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Subah bukhair. And Yawm-e-Barrier, sir, aapko bahut bahut mubarak ho. Kaise aap?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, very fine. And thank you very much for calling us and sharing the beautiful day of Islamabad, along with the Pakistan Navy Day also on the 8th September.
It would be incomplete without you both, of course, and we're really, really honored to have you
Exactly. So without any further ado, sir, I think I'm going to take a plunge over here as well, and I want to ask about the Operation Somnath, the objectives of that operation, and then what were the effects of that operation. So please take us through.
Okay. Before I go actually on the Operation Somnath, I'll just go on the very briefly on the background of it.
Okay. Please.
Background is that Kashmir is the unfinished agenda of partition. The plan of partition, which was approved by the Parliament, British Parliament, on 18th of July 1947, that said that all the princely states which have Muslim majority, they should join Pakistan, and the Hindus, they will join India.
Yes.
And unfortunately, 3 states, that is Jammu and Kashmir, Hyderabad, and Junagadh, these were the only 3 which did not join by 15th of August. Later on, in 1947-48, not even before that, in October 1947, India occupied Kashmir, and which we call it Indian occupied Kashmir. And India, then in 1947-48, there was a war, and the PM of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, he went to UNO to intervene, and the UNO resolution is that there should be plebiscite, and wherever there are Muslim,
majority,
they should be. And it has not taken place yet. And now, very recently, India has revoked Article 370 and 35A, and Pakistan went to Security Council, and Security Council said that India and Pakistan cannot take unilateral decision on this issue.
Right.
This means that Indian stance that it is their internal matter, it has been negated. Right. Now, going forward, in January 1965, there was a run of collapse of Kutch. In India claimed on the 24 degrees parallel latitude that 3,500 miles area of Pakistan, and Pakistan Navy was directly affected. They went to sea, all the ships, they went to sea, and what happened was that the British government, they intervened, and the collapse of Kutch was on 1st of April, it was disengaged, and in 1st of May there was a tribunal which decided, amicably decided the issue. So on this issue, Pakistan Navy in January 1965 till September, the start of the war, was ready. They were carrying out very frequent patrols to protect the, provide the civil defense. And what happened was that on 6th of September, in the meantime, there was uprising in Kashmir, struggle, and India attacked on 6th of September on Lahore. This was the Indian aggression, and India is declared as a aggressor and attacker.
Yes.
That attack was thwarted, that was sorted out, that was stopped, and in the meantime, Pakistan Navy at 6:30, the message was received, and by 8 o'clock, 7 ships, 1 cruiser and 6 destroyer and frigate, they left the harbor with war readiness, and they went to their patrol stations, and they carried out patrol. So Pakistan Navy was ready to, was anticipating that something is going to happen.
All right.
Now, if you want, I can talk of Dwarka operation.
We really do want to talk about, of course, Operation Dwarka. But before we get there, we have something to share with the audiences. And also before that, Baba Sahib, I want to move on to you, and I want you to sort of, I want to say, paint us a picture of when we talk about maritime security, what kind of role are we putting on the Navy altogether? And like Dr. Saab mentioned, the preparedness of Navy, like before even the attack happened, we were prepared. In terms of preparedness and operationality, where is Pakistan Navy today?
And then, sir, adding on to that as well, very sorry, because, when we talk about Pakistan Navy, or when we talk about submarines where they really need to be at that point of time, where we are actually defending our sea borders as well, you really have to anticipate and you really have to judge that, God forbid, okay, this can happen. So anticipation can go either way. Either you can go wrong about it as well with your judgment, or either you're absolutely correct. So what actually happened?
Basically, once we talk of the Navy, Navy is different than the other two sister services.
Okay.
Right.
Other two sister services, they get operationalized or they are used during the wars, many wars. But for last 40 years, we are also using them for the domestic killing of the domestic violence also. But Navy has more to do even in the peace times. So that happened in the, let's say, Commodore Anjum Safraz was also mentioning that from January to September we were guarding the sea. There was no war, it was a tension period. But Navy's role is to protect the trade also. This is the primary. Navies were created in the past also because they are to protect the trade. Like once we talk of the CPAC, let's say, the Pakistan Navy role is to protect the coastline, defense and the slocks, the sea lines of communication, which the way trade is playing through it between Karachi and Gwadar and to other parts of the world. We need to protect that. So that is the major important segment of our security.
Then piracy as well. I think you have to stop that as well.
Yeah, but piracy. There are two types of threats. One is the conventional threat, that is a threat from any adversary, and second is unconventional, that is a piracy. Maybe even pollution is also a threat. The sea change is also a threat. Human trafficking, narcotics, every type of threat is there. And the Navy, along with the paramilitary forces, that is Pakistan Maritime Security Agency and Coast Guard, they all join together in peacetime and they conduct the security operations, and they are always present at sea. There is no time when Pakistan Navy is not present at this sea borders.
Right.
So that is the very important sector or understanding we need to understand. That Navy is not for the war time only, Navy is more in the peacetime also, which is guarding us. Now coming back to this present day development. Alhamdulillah, Pakistan Navy is developing on a very rapid pace, and but it is a continuous process. If some new ships joins in, somebody has to be retired. Well, you see, this is a continuous process. Likewise, technology advancement is the day by day. Although we are a very poor country and we cannot afford to match the other adversaries, but whatever the resources we have and whatever the technology, but it is the man behind the gun, which ultimately. So, Alhamdulillah, our people or the sailors or the officers, and they are not to, even we cannot say second to none.
Exactly.
They are the best of that, and they utilize whatever they have been provided to best of their abilities. And in 65 war and the 71 war, thereafter also till today, we have not, I can very safely say, we have not disappointed our nation.
Alhamdulillah, which is why, sir, at this point of time, I actually want to say that, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan got its independence on 14th of August in 1947. It's 2021, September 8th. And we are sitting in a sovereign land as well, where we are totally independent. Alhamdulillah, we have the kind of freedom we wanted to ourselves as well, and we continue to live. And it is because of the fact that we today, ladies and gentlemen, gathered today to appreciate our armed forces as well. May it be Pakistan Army, may it be Pakistan Navy, may it be Pakistan Air Force, and all the civilians out there, and the families of the Ghazis and the martyrs as well.
And especially for today, we are definitely here to celebrate Pakistan Navy for that matter.
Yep.
And I now want to talk about, now this is very famous and for everyone who has been studying in Pakistan. I mean, it was a part of their either social studies book or history or whatnot.
Yep.
The Operation Dwarka that we call it, or Somnath even that we
call it.
But
we kind of, before we kind of speak about that operation as well, we actually have a rich tribute to pay to all of those people who are out there who've served in the Pakistan Navy as well. All the families of the Shohadas and the Shohadas themselves as well. So please go ahead and take a listen to this very amazing patriotic song we have for you.
Well, I feel like, Shazad, when we began our day with such songs and everything, the spirit of nationalism and patriotism
the energy is different.
It's definitely different and sort of sets the tone for the rest of the day as well. But now, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about Pakistan Navy's achievement, we cannot not talk about the Operation Dwarka that we already did say. So coming on to you, Commander Saab, why don't you sort of let us know, Commodore Saab, I always get that mixed up, so sorry, apologies.
No problem.
Why don't you let us know about that particular operation? Because it was a surprise for even Navy itself to go do it, right? But it managed it perfectly. How did it happen?
What happened was that on 7th of September, as I said before, the ship sailed on 6th of September. On 7th of September in the morning when the ships were on patrol, there was an order received from Naval Headquarters. By the way, at that time, the CNC was Admiral A.R. Khan.
Right.
Okay.
So the orders were received to the flotilla, the task force, which was commanded by Commodore S.M. Anwar, that you go and full dispatch and carry out bombardment on Dwarka, Operation Somnath.
Okay.
It was Dwarka, from that position, it was about 200 nautical miles, and the ship went on full dispatch. And the objectives were that there was a radar station, there was a beacon to destroy that, at the same time to lower the morale of the Indian Navy and Indian nation as a overall, because attacking by a small navy to going all the way and then attacking, and that was a demoralizing factor for them. And then third was that their Indian Navy bigger ships, they will come out from the Bombay harbor, and our submarine was already there on patrol, and she will carry out attack on them and sink them.
Yeah.
So this was the main objective of. So the ship went, they reached there in time, and the bombardment by 7 ships as close as 5 nautical miles from the coast. They carried out bombardment, and every ship fired 50 rounds, and there was with a lot of enthusiasm, with saying, with every shot saying Allahu Akbar, and they achieved the mission. And then after completing the successful mission, Operation Somnath, the ships came back to their patrol station on 8th of September in the morning. Wonderful. That's why 8th of September is remembered or is celebrated in Pakistan Navy as a naval day, to pay tribute to all those who carried out, who planned, who trained, who executed courageously this operation and participated in 1965 war.
Just one small thing though, when we talk about 200 nautical miles, that is the national water for every country, right? Beyond that, international water starts.
Yes.
So if Pakistan was already just 5 nautical miles away from Indian coast, how come they didn't detect?
Actually, Indian, in the whole 1965 war, you will be surprised to listen that it was a very big navy. They are a carrier, 2 cruisers, 19 destroyer and frigates. They did not come out. Even their aircraft which were on their carrier, nobody dared to come out.
And which is why, I'm going to move on to Babar Sahib over here. So Babar Sahib, just yesterday, because it was Yawm-e-Fazaiya as well, so I was in conversation with people from Pakistan Air Force, officers from, and very well designated and very well decorated officers from Yawm-e-Fazaiya, from Pakistan Air Force. And they said that, that we were able to gain air superiority in the air, obviously, and which is why, so India couldn't do anything to us as well. But from the story which Dr. Anjum Saab is sharing, I believe that you had complete sea control as well.
Definitely, that is a very correct assessment and very beautifully worded sentence, this sea control. Basically, you see, on 6th, Alhamdulillah, Pakistan Army could blunt the Indian aggression. 7th, the Air Force, 7th morning, heroics of MM Alam and other great pilots, they defended Pakistan airspace and had the total air superiority over India established. On the 7th and 8th night, this operation which Dr. Saab was referring to, it happened from right at the middle of the night, from 12:24 to 12:28, 4 minutes operation, 5 miles, 350 rounds fired, and the enemy radar station, beacons, everything was destroyed. And we were operating in their waters.
That's what I'm actually
That means we have established a sea control. Our submarines were blocking them, And the effect of this one attack on Dwarka and the submarine presence was that whole of the merchant shipping, which were destined for the Mumbai and other Indian coast on the western coast, it was diverted to the southern and the eastern coast. Okay. So that was the impact. And this is called the sea control, that our ships were operating 100 miles from Pakistani coast, 150 miles, that was their operational area. They were in opens, and no Indian naval ships ever challenged those 17 days. Rather, they never came out even after that also, till maybe 10 October, or that is the time when the hostilities were really scaled down, and then things were moving automatically. Wow. Because we also brought a merchant ship, Baghe Karachi, escorted after the war, which I was referring to. The Navy role is not finished on the end of the day of war, but we continue to work, and these ships which were initially engaged for the Dwarka, they were employed to bring, they were merchant ship stranded close to the Omanian coast. So we wanted to bring in Karachi against an enemy threat. So ship was dispatched, naval ship went and they escorted that ship to Karachi, and that arrived on 10th of October. So that is the way we established the control, and this dominance was very apparent. Because
and kind of adding on to that, sir, as well, I think it will be very important for me to kind of ask that, how does maritime kind of contribute towards national security as well?
Yes, very pertinent question in the modern times. If you see the history, go through the history of the world maritime powers, any power, a great power, which has achieved the wonders of they have mastered the world, it is always the maritime power. Maybe the Dutch, Portuguese, Britishers, Americans, even Chinese were the great maritime power in 15. Muslims dominated the world because of the maritime power. And those who have defeated the Hitler, Napoleon went to sea, but it was also shrunk. The Mughals, great empire, vanished from the earth because of non-availability of the maritime power. So maritime has a link. And secondly, maritime security is, we want to bring the oil, edibles, we want to export. Until unless we keep on doing this, you cannot, this is the linkage with the national security.
Of course.
For today, let's say, last year, we brought about 900 ships of the vital cargo of oil, gas, LNG, edible oil, coal, which is the lifeline of a country.
Of course.
That makes about 3 ships a day on average per day. So that is the impact of our maritime economy or maritime security, which is linked with the national security. If just God forbid, if there is no 3-4 days, there is no LNG coming, your and my stoves at the home will not burn.
It won't. Absolutely.
So and in winters we usually feel this heat. So this is the linkage. We need to understand that maritime security is vital for the national security.
Exactly.
Or in the simplest term, let's just say if the Wi-Fi stops working, that is also your job, because you have to go underwater.
Yes, underwater. That is also maritime
to fix
cable.
The optical fibers. But ladies and gentlemen, since we're really short on time, I actually want to wrap this up with well, again, yet another greater achievements of Pakistan Navy as well. So, sir, please, I request you to make this a closing note while also letting us know about the submarine Ghazi. And it's
okay. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Actually, Pakistan Navy was the first navy in South Asia which acquired a submarine. Yeah. We acquired USS Diablo, and it was named as Ghazi in 1964, and the commanding officer was Commander K.R. Niazi, who retired as Chief of the Naval Staff, and XO was now retired as Vice Admiral Ahmed Tasneem. This submarine was deployed, as I said earlier, on 5th of September. It was already off Bombay, and it patrolled over there, and none of the bigger ships of the India, they managed to come out. And then it was after Dwarka, it was thought that the ships will come out, but even then they did not come. So it was, our patrol was shifted to Kathiawar coast, and on 22nd of September, around 7 p.m., she fired, to be exact, 7:11 p.m., she fired torpedoes on an Indian frigate, and the Indian frigate, it hit the frigate, but unfortunately the torpedoes did not explode. So the ship was damaged, but it did not sink. And then the submarine managed to escape. But I would like to say that Ghazi was the main weapon or equipment, or you can say vessel.
It turned out to be a Ghazi as
provided,
well.
Yes, which provided or helped to acquire sea control for the Pakistan Navy. Wow. So it's a great contribution of those who manned that submarine and who very bravely and courageously operated that, and all those who planned it, executed it and trained it.
Wow, wonderful.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you too as well. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important, it's imperative. And I think every other parent who's out there as well, you really need to share these historical facts with the future generations or with your kids as well. Please make sure to do so. But at this point of time, we're actually heading out towards a short break. We'll say goodbye to these gentlemen. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for all the bravery. Thank you very much for all the valor. Thank you very much for all the courage. And thank you very much to all of those people, all of those family members of the Shohadas as well and the Ghazis as well. Thank you very much for making sure that you are going to send your son or daughter to make sure that they're going to sacrifice their life in the name of their motherland as well. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go
anywhere. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we have something more informative. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your journey of learning and, well, being informed every other morning as well.
Exactly.
This is Shahzad Khan and I am Shaza Hashmi. Very quickly, since we've really short on time, we have tried to bring you something really interesting or special that we need to learn about all together, and then also pay respect to the profession as well. I'm saying that because a lot of people have sort of their, reservations with it. So today we're talking about physiotherapy, what it means, where do you need it, when do you need it, and who are the people who actually do need it, and then who are the practitioners of it who bring you the services as well. So all my life I've heard, for all my friends who are physiotherapists, there have been sort of reservations कि आप doctor नहीं हो सकती, physiotherapist is not a doctor. The impact or the role a physiotherapist has in your rehabilitation is something you cannot do without them.
Exactly.
So I think, Shahzad, coming to you, because if you allow me, I have to say this, Shahzad has been on and off receiving some sort of physiotherapy in his life as well. Do you think it was important, first of all?
I think it's important for everybody. I mean, whether you have an injury or whether you do not have an injury, I think to get like 2 or 3 sessions of physiotherapy once or twice a week is not going to harm you anyways. But to be very honest, because I've had disc prolapse with myself, I have had muscle dystrophy, I have nerve damage, so I have had multiple issues, and it's because of the fact that, that I was too late on getting help from physiotherapist as well. And then eventually, since I didn't go to physiotherapist, I actually had to end up kind of getting my back operated. So ladies and gentlemen, you know, even these days I'm taking my father for physiotherapy sessions, even though there was no doctor who recommended that this is something you should do. But I took him and I made it a point with him as well that we really need to get it done, and alhamdulillah, he's better.
Oh, that's
so a lot of people do not understand it, and it's just that the results are very slow. And what people do is people think that, okay, you know, we're not getting better, so it's better that we do not get the therapy. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that this thing will eventually help. All you need to do is that you need to go to people who really are physiotherapists. I mean, this is one thing which I really need to make sure that, you know, or you need to make sure that every other person you're going to is not a physiotherapist. Anybody can buy that machine and give you those electric jolts on a lower wall and then ultraviolet rays and whatnot. Everybody has learned this art. But please make sure that people who've certainly learned the art and the skill, you go to those people as well. And which is why today on Physiotherapy Day, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be a physiotherapist at Shifa International Hospital. She is Dr. Sadia Hussain. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So first things first, whatever I said, do you think that's correct?
I mean, you explained it, I think, better than me. Oh.
Thank you very much for
I'm like,
saying
I
that.
was just agreeing with everything you said. Each and every word was so true.
Thank you very much for
saying that. Do you come across clients or patients who have a similar mindset of, you know, hame kya fayda hoga physiotherapy se?
Yeah, normally we have this thing. That is why we are celebrating this World Physical Therapy Day, so that we can have this awareness of physical therapy, what it is, and, you know, how it can benefit patients.
Enlighten us what it is.
Okay, so first I would tell you the definition of physical therapy. So it is a specialized field which promotes, maintains and restores health. So we do it by first initially evaluating the patient, then making a diagnosis, then of course applying all the physical therapy treatment. So this is all we do, right? So there are...
Yeah, go on.
So there are two things in which physical therapy basically gives its advantages, right? As Shehzad told us, that it's not only when the disease process has started, there are two areas in which we give our services. Number one is where the disease process hasn't started yet. You are at risk factor for getting a disease. It can be your environmental factors, it can be your age, it can be your work habits, it can be your ergonomics, right? And then there's the another area in which physical therapy gives its benefits, that is when the disease process has started. So we have, like, you know, numerous diseases which fall in different domains, like, you know, neuromuscular physical therapy, cardiopulmonary physical therapy, gynecological physical therapy, women's health, right? So these are the two areas basically where physical therapy is.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm actually going to make it easier for you to understand as well. And in those terms, obviously, and we really need to kind of pay tribute to all of these people as well, because people from armed forces, whenever they go to an area which we refer to as hard area, or God forbid, you know, that if it is a war-struck area as well. And for all of those Ghazis who come back, they come back injured as well. So they need a lot of rehabilitation, and physiotherapy helps in those terms as well. But the most common symptoms is, for example, if you do not drink enough of water, you'll get muscle spasms. You know, this is one thing we should talk about, you know, in a very layman term as well. Aapko lagta hai ki ek jagah se khich gaye aap, you know, things like that. So I think physiotherapy is very helpful in that too. And what are we supposed to do if, God forbid, anybody is having muscle spasms? I mean, obviously you have to drink a lot of water, but in terms of physiotherapy, yeah.
Okay, so again, we have acute problems and then we have chronic problems. The acute problems are the problems that has arisen in like 3 days, 4 days span, right? It's very initial in its prognosis, right? So the muscle spasms and, you know, getting your muscle pulled or having a little backache after your work.
You know, all these issues.
Exactly. So these are the problems that we take care of as well. So if we talk about the treatment protocol, so in acute phase, we go for the PRICE protocol. So that is protection, rest, icing, compression, and elevation.
Yeah, and this,
so,
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you, but people who are over here, imagine, say, if you got your muscle spasm today, or if there's a problem with your hamstring, or you know, muscle khich gaya, something like that, or for the first 2 or 3 days, you need to ice it. Please make sure that you do not put heat packs on top of it as well. For the first 2 days, at least, you have to ice it. Please do not confuse it, because as soon as you're going to go to your mom, she'll be like, "La beta, teri tikor kar deti." Don't do that, yeah, please.
And this happens, as you said, not every physiotherapist is a real physiotherapist.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have different.
What's the difference? Is there a difference in physical?
I mean, they do not know.
Yeah, there is. There is this DPT, that is a 5-year specialized field for physiotherapy.
Okay.
And there are different diplomas as well for physiotherapy. And then there are people who are not that much good in their fields. So sometimes it happens as well when you come in the acute phase to a physiotherapist, so they would be giving you all the electric jolts and the heating therapy and very, very intense exercise. So normally, because, you know, I work in pain management, so we don't prescribe exercise in the first 2 days initially.
Okay.
You know, again, that depends upon condition to condition. In some cases, we'd be needing exercise immediately. In some conditions, we would, in fact, not do the exercise. Now, if a patient is coming to me and he's giving me money and I'm telling him not to do any exercise, so he must have this question. So, you know, I am coming to you. But this is the main thing, that if you are going to exercise in this acute phase, you are going to make your condition worse.
Okay.
So,
and that's different for different cases, right? Which is why we always say go to the right person first of all, because only they can sort of detect what's going on with you and tell you how far it goes. Just one small thing though. So this has been a
lot of
common.
Small things today.
Well, what can I say? I'm joking. I was going to say something, but I'm going to refrain. So a lot of my friends actually lately, mashallah, 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 have been blessed with beautiful kids. Well, so they had a sort of a common question. Is it if you do get a C-section, is physiotherapy a part that does follow later as well? Because it doesn't go smooth for a lot of women, right?
okay, so in women's health, we have like 3 phases, you know, the prenatal phase, and then the antenatal phase and the postnatal phase, right? So it's like before pregnancy, we prepare our body for the pregnancy, the delivery, and then throughout our pregnancy, there's another phase, and after delivery, there's another phase. So in all these phases, we have different sort of exercise, we train different type of muscles, we help different sort of problems, right? So again, in pregnancy now it depends if there is some complication or not. So first we have to look after this thing as well. And then after C-section, if you are going for physical therapy, again, physical therapy is a relatively slower process. So it's not like, you know, having a first session and you're gonna be like, you know, boom and running all around. So it wouldn't be like that. But of course, after even C-section, it prepares your body by strengthening your different sort of muscles, you know, the pelvic floor muscles, the muscles that are basically holding your uterus, right? We're going to strengthen that because it goes through a lot of damage. And then the abdominal muscles having all the stitches, and we're going to train those muscles as well. So it definitely helps pregnant women as well.
And wow, that's wonderful. So, you know, for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you know, the treatment's not even so expensive, so please make sure that you give it a try. Now, I've like multiple questions. Now, I have 2 questions, but I'm confused about which one to ask first. Okay, I think we'll move on to the chronic problems as well, where obviously brain hemorrhage ends up paralyzing half of your body, and it's a very common disease over here in Pakistan as well, that due to a stroke, you know, that half of your body is actually paralyzed. And I've seen a lot of people living with it. You know, my chachu was living with it, may his soul rest in peace as well. But what I have seen is that, you know, at times you do get like 100% results, but at times you get 25%, 20% results as well. So what is that point in your life where you actually have to decide that, okay, yaar, ab aur physiotherapy nahi karani mujhe, bas I think we have had enough. So how do we decide on that? That, okay, now physiotherapy is not helping, it's beyond physiotherapy and we really need to go and look for another treatment.
Okay, so this is the thing that not the patient decides. This is what the physical therapist decides, you know.
But they are unable to decide because they're getting paid on every visit.
Yeah, but you know, when you're working with your all the energies and you know with your good intentions, then of course you would be telling them these are acha. Okay, the first thing that's very important in physical therapy is we make realistic goals. So if, for example, if a person comes to me after let's say a road traffic accident and his spinal cord is severely severed, right? So in that case, I can't guide him and I can't even commit that I would be able to make you walk and, you know, I'd be make you able to...
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I have to make realistic goals. I have to tell, okay, let's say after 3 months of physical therapy, we would be able to achieve these things, right? So even in the patient's mind, it's very much clear that this is the things that I can achieve, and these are the things that is beyond even the hands of physical therapy as well.
Yeah, true.
Right. Well,
and you know, there's one more thing as well which I wanted to ask, because these days, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of athletes are doing this. So what they've done is, you know, I think it might come to you guys as a surprise as well, but let me share it because I've gone through it myself as well. So what they do is, so, you know, you go to these, I mean, you cannot call them gyms, but what happens is that, you know, they actually, what they've done is that they've been really smart, all of these people.
I'm
these
waiting suspense.
These fitness trainers. So what they've done is that they've actually imported these suits which will give you those electric jolts, and so what happens is that the muscle is going to contract and the muscle is going to expand, obviously, you know, just because when the current hits you, you know, it contracts your muscle, and then when it releases, you know, so obviously the blood's going to be pumped into your muscle. And what they've done is, for example, if you are working out in a gym for like 1.5 hours or 2 hours, you only have to work out like for 15 minutes with those electric jolts as well, and you will bear the same results. And it's a newer technology, and people are bringing it to, and even the most famous football stars are actually going for it as well,
really?
at least twice or thrice a week. And every time if you go over here in F6, we have this facility, you actually have to pay the 5,000 rupees for every session. Takes 20-25 minutes, and you're all pumped up as well.
Do you feel it though? Like,
but the best part was, since I know what physiotherapy is and have been taking physiotherapy all my life, so that was my first question to that person. I was like, yeah, ये तो तुम physiotherapy कर रहे हो, और क्या कर रहे हो? or probably that you're doing physiotherapy. So do you think that, you know, that this technique is actually going to work if we, in case, want our muscles to pump up and be in shape? All of these suits are going to help us?
Yes, it definitely does, because you know, the electrical stimulation is very much important for muscle strengthening as well. The nerves that we have in our body, they conduct through electrical stimulation. Normally, you know, arteries and veins, they have the blood, and the nerves, they have these ions, right? So the transfer of ions causes the electrical impulses to generate in nerve. So it's basically a natural mechanism in our body as well. So we are just, you know, stimulating our nerves to strengthen our muscles and creating the muscle bulk and everything.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Sadia, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation there too on Physical Therapy Day as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today we observed, celebrated Pakistan Navy Day as well, and then at the same time we tried to make sure that we're going to share something very important and full of knowledge, and that too was obviously related to Physical Therapy Day. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure
to write to us, of course. And you know, just listening to this segment actually, where you and also Dr. Sadia did mention how slow the process may be, but the results are actually impeccable, reminded me of Dark Knight, and where actually Batman, you know, with his broken back, took months and months to recover to become Batman again. So if you want to be Batman, you have to give it time as well. But towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to give us your feedback, your questions, or any queries regarding all the shows that we did on our Facebook page, on our social media, actually all of it, with the name of Well This Morning. And the repeat of this one, you will be able to catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. It's a rainy morning over in Islamabad. Make sure to have some pakoras and a fantastic cup of tea. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.